as the title would suggest, I don't really care for Rise of Ronin. Now, there's a few reasons why. Now, I'm not going to say it's the worst game ever made. It's not. It's still playable, but there is some key problems I think we need to talk about. The developer that made it is an amazing developer, somebody I actually do like for many games they've made. And then I think it's Toei Tecmo is like one of the best people there is. But I guess it's time to get down to the nit and grit, the actual, basically, as I always say, the meat of what I want to talk about. I'm trimming the fat off and getting straight to the point. This game is just a bunch of different, different games and like different mechanics, all not even very well done, but like essentially craft glued together, not even like really good quality glue. I'm talking about that cheap stuff, not even craft. I actually would say probably a knockoff, get a Dollar General. Now, why do I bring this up? Because basically they rehashed a shit ton of assets and they seem to have dialed down their graphics a little bit. Now, if you haven't played it, they have Wulong. Wulong is a pretty good, difficult Souls-like game. It is hard at every turn. The only problem is the story's a little hard to follow if you don't actually play the game. I stopped playing it, so I'm not going to talk about that. But they have a certain character creator. Now, the character creator pretty much makes an appearance here. And the reason why I bring that up is because, guess what? Nioh 2, same character creator. I've made the same character in all three games just to see how easy it was to do. So I did do it. The reason why I did is because I do like the way my characters look when I make that like, almost like Sasuke when he's, in his little demon form thing, the curse mark form. I thought that long hair looked kind of cool. Now I still do it because I am still cringy sometimes. But that's not even like the worst of it. The graphics is a very big downgrade. Now, ironically, two games come out the same day with a slight downgrade in what we are used to right now with like graphic fidelity, overall look, compared to a couple games that already came out. And you're talking about 2024 on a PS5. We're not going to talk about the PC port of Dragon's Dogma 2 right now. It's pretty shit. But the fact that they couldn't even look semi-decent as far as like new grounds of gaming, especially in an RE engine in Dragon's Dogma 2. But here's the difference, the key difference. Dragon's Dogma 2 offers a plethora of good mechanics, gameplay, some decent jumps in difficulty, definitely some cutting some corners and coming out of nowhere, and all of a sudden, you're fighting some higher level creatures, which is fine. You can level up there, you can power level. It's not as bad as what people seem to make it out to be, except for PC, I'll give you that. But this game just kind of mixes a whole bunch of some good characteristics and makes it worse. So I already mentioned a couple games. Well, also I'm going to go into a little further. We have Ghost of Tsushima. They have a little bit of touching on that. Kind of the map layout I would kind of consider. This seems almost like a Unity asset flip. So basically, they took all the assets that would make Character Creator. You can bring your character into this. They come from two other games, pretty much. The graphics are a little bit lower, and also it's a big, expansive, like kind of a big map. And what I mean by they kind of take from Ghost of Tsushima is because the map is almost feels like that, but from a PS2 era. A lot of the graphics is, you definitely tell, is like compressed into where you're at on the map, like right there. I know there is definitely a rendering issue that we still haven't mastered even today. But this, you can definitely tell from a distance how bad it is. Now, I'm going to probably, just to let you know, this is a couple minutes in. You're going to be on for a little bit of a long ride because I got a lot of complaints. And the only reason why I'm going to finish it is because I paid for it. And I'm damn sure not going to give up on playing it. Because here's the only good thing I could say. The story is okay. It's definitely easy to follow. It's not completely uninteresting. The setting is amazing. I do like the setting that it's in. But it's because the graphics, they kind of make the setting look like complete dog shit. Just to let you know how hard I've been trying to talk about this game because it was such a letdown. This is like my 5th time trying to record the whole video from beginning to end. So they also take some aspects of Sekiro, which is like some of the traversal aspects of it. And it is horrible. Now, that's probably the best part about it, and it's still not good. Sekiro had a good, nice feel to it. It felt fluid. It felt like it worked. You could definitely, win fights and escape fights. In this one, it just kind of feels clunky. To make it worse, they take a few other inspirational, tidbits from like Sekiro or Wulong, which is their reflex system, or I call it reflex system. I forget the actual name because they both use different ones, but basically it's when we reflect. So when you get attacked, you can reflect it, and that helps to stagger them. When they stagger, you get a good hit. That's a huge heavy hitter in pretty much all Souls games, but there was a whole mechanic on it that literally was in Sekiro, Wulong, and actually even Bloodborne, which was done with the gun, which I was horrible at. Now, this is my fault, so I will not hold it against the game. I suck at that in general. There's not too many games I'm good at reflecting on, so I will not use that against the game because that is my own fault that I suck at that. Sorry, I will have to go ahead and let you know I damn sure had to spread my cheeks for that one because every single game completely ramrods me really quick. And if it comes to reflecting, I'm going straight balls deep into my anus. So it's my fault. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because all these games are taking bits and pieces out of each one of them. And then it feels, like I said, like a macaroni art glued together where you can just flick the pieces off. And I'll go ahead and set this for you. In the beginning, there's only one section of the map, just like with any game, that you can go to. Now, that one section of the map, you can see this westernized area across a little river, ravine, or whatever you want to call it, because there's a small bridge, and usually, even in any game, say you can't get over there, which you can't, the big issue is there's nobody over there from where you're looking, and it's not that far. It is a stone throw away, even if you can't get there, which a lot of games have this, by the way. When you're in an area and you see another area that's locked and you can't get over there, you can still see everything going on. There's a whole damn town. It's essentially Assassin's Creed 3 New York or whatever, Boston, where it's this little densely populated area where it's basically a westernized area. It's the 1800s, so definitely, way after a lot of things have happened, samurais are pretty much out and done. At this point, it's all, revolvers and higher tech. So it makes sense that there be a Western area. Now, this is all made up, by the way, so it's not exactly, a true story. But it seems like they took also some of the worst characteristics from like Neo and put it in here. There's no big monsters, no big baddies. A lot of it is just regular people, which is fine. That's definitely a Way of the Samurai feel, but, Way of the Samurai is in its own right a really good roguelike game. The only roguelike game I actually like. But to kind of add insult to injury, the biggest issue, like I said, is the town doesn't look lived in. Well, once you unlock the town and the gates open, this is where it's like a PS2 game. With, I say, better graphics. It almost seems like a early PS4, maybe a PS3 title. But as soon as the gates open, that's when you see the entire town start fading in their characters. At least it did it for me. Now, I'm not going to say I'm playing on cheap hardware. This is a brand new PS5. I haven't even had it that long. And it's the new Mini, so I don't see how it couldn't have played it. But it popped in like that, and it looked horrible. It's absolutely garbage. You cannot explain to me how that would be good at any point in time. Now, the only thing that makes it playable, which I can let go as long as it has something good. The only reason why I give it such a bad name is because there's a lot of bad things going for it. But the gameplay is good enough to pass for me, where for me, with somebody with like ADHD, I can shut my brain off. Super easy story to follow. The missions are pretty simple. It's super watered down. It seems like it's going to be a long enough game to keep me occupied, but from what I understand, it doesn't have as much content to kind of streamline about 7-8 hours, which sucks because it's almost sold as a 20-30 hour game. Now, saying it is, I'm saying this seems like. So to also add a little bit more to it, obviously I'm not reviewing this. This is not a review because I have not played enough. I don't think it would be genuine. I think it would be 100% disingenuous to throw out a review on a game that I haven't played enough of. If it's going to be a big game, I would recommend for myself to at least play 10 to 15 hours, unless it's a game I expected really well, like say Final Fantasy. I did a little tidbit before I actually streamed it, the first 5 hours, which I thought was a good, because it was so good, I thought it was a good idea to at least give the first 5 hours so nobody got spoilers. This one I played for a few hours, and it's not that great. But I will be streaming it more and more. I will try to enjoy it, along with the other games I'm still streaming at the moment. If you don't know that, on weekends I'm going to be trying to stream quite a few hours a day because that's just what I do for fun. Come on by, say hello. I will be doing Dragon's Dogma 2, probably a little bit of Rise of Ronin, and also some Call of Duty here and there. But Also, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, one of my favorite games. I definitely love to play it, and all the people that have been coming out, you're awesome. But to get back on track, the game story is pretty easy to follow. These are slightly spoiler, but it's super early in the game. You're first introduced to basically two people, a man and a woman, and they're fighting. The woman has a missing arm. She has a mechanical arm, and they're getting ready to fight. Well, then it cuts to a previous, like years ago scenario. There's a whole area getting attacked, and these Ronin and samurai, which by the way makes no sense. That's another key problem. They're ninja, but they call them samurai, which doesn't make any sense. But basically, this old lady I call Gran, I can't even remember her name, but Graham comes out of nowhere, defends the kids, gets them out of there, and everything's said and done. What happens is they call them the Twin Blades. Now, Twin Blades is two people in this organization that always work together. They're really good separated. This is literally what they say. They're good separated. They can take people down, but together they're indestructible, which is kind of ironic because later on they pretty much get taken down by one guy. And I assume, and this is before I find everything out, and this could be spoilers, so warning, I think that's the Twin Blade of Gran. That's the bad guy you're fighting for a minute, not the British guy. But the story is just pretty basic. Basically, the woman that you're fighting in the beginning, I say fight, it's in the cinematic, is your twin blade, which you, like 20 minutes after that, you end up getting through this boat, do a yada yada yada, get to the baddie of that, and that's where ninja comes out of nowhere. He's a blue spirit looking dude. Basically like Zuko from Avatar. He comes out, fights him, scares him off. Old girl loses her arm, so you know that's your twin blade. That's literally the person that's with you. I think it's your sister. But essentially, you create both characters. The only cool gameplay aspect, this is the only reason why I'll still play it, is you can utilize both characters at any point in time. So you could literally gang up on any fight if you have two people, and you can just wipe the floor with them. Every fight is super simple that way, except for the Gomen. If you don't know what Gomens are, they're the big guys with usually a big old like stick. I hate every one of them, and I'm already hating them in general. I've lost most of my fights to those big Gomens. They might not even be called that in this game. I'm just going off Samurai Warriors. I remember that's what they were called, and I hated them. But yeah, there's a lot to tear apart in this game, unfortunately. It had to come out the same day as Dragon's Dogma 2, which kind of sucks because, like I said, both of them graphically not as good as all the other games we've been getting. But at least Dragon's Dogma 2 has really, really, really good gameplay mechanics. So I can forgive it as long as I'm having fun. This one, it's just so easy, except for some of the fights are hard for like no reason. That's another problem. Some of the curves is almost Souls-like, while the rest are boring. The story is super easy to follow, so I'm not lost. And there's a lot of padding in it that just I thought was weird. But yeah, I'd have to say, if you're going to play this game, like I said, not a review, I'd recommend waiting until it's on sale, probably $20. I wouldn't even pay more than $30-$40 for it at the fullest price you can get. It is a stale game, and it does not look all that good visually. Some of the trees, what 5 of them will pop up in your area, are so spread apart that it's not even that great. None of the environment's interactive at all. I know that's a little bit of a nitpick, and it really is. But coming off the cuffs of like Ghost of Tsushima, which came out a few years ago, still today with the PS5 port, beautiful game. First time I played it was on PS4 Pro. Still looks 10 times better. And that's on a 10-15 year hardware at this point, compared to PS5, which is roughly 5 years. So yeah, kind of makes sense for me to have at least that nitpick. And that's the two nitpicks I think I should have for myself, is the fact it's a reflex system, which I suck at. And then the second part would be quite literally just the game is just not that appealing, not looking wise. Now, the open world is okay. Oh, by the way, they also stole another little tidbit from Ghost Tsushima. I might be butchering that name, but there's a part where when you go to these fox shrines, you also pet the fox. Well, in this one, you're petting cats. I haven't seen the reason why, but you are petting cats. That's about it. You just pet cats. Also, the costumes are really weird so far. I mean, right now I have what looks like a pair of Nikes and a full ancient Japanese samurai outfit, which makes no sense. Probably the only good thing about it is the character creator, because you can just make whatever you want. The wildest of twin blades, which would be the man and the woman, the wildest of creations, pretty much whatever you want. So I mean, as far as creator character, I mean, you can do quite a bit, and it's not bad. That's the only good side. The story's okay. The characters are pretty likable. All the ones I've ran into, they at least have some form of likability to them so far. And the villain definitely at least started off kind of make sense. So the villain's okay. So far the story is strong enough to kind of keep me enticed. So I'll probably still be playing it just because of that sheer reason. I want to know what's going on. So I have to say, for this game, wait till it's on sale. I know I've rambled a lot, and that's because this game seemed like it would be somewhat of a decent game. Kind of like a Assassin's Creed meets Neo. I thought it would be a good mix. And unfortunately, no, not really. Not the worst game of the year. But I said I wasn't going to rate it. I will actually give it a small bit of a rating. I'd honestly say it's about a 5, maybe a 6 out of 10. Just because it kind of holds up okay enough to be playable. And yeah, that's about all I got to say. Y'all have a good one.